What's up, otakus? It's your tour guide here, and happy Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving Eve, but by the time this video goes out, it may be Black Friday, it may be Thanksgiving Day. I'm not sure when I'm gonna get the editing done, but just preparing for a big day tomorrow with the family. Thanksgiving's one of my favorite times of the year. I have so many good memories of just our family having a nice dinner and spending the weekend together. It's a little more difficult for the family to get together now. My family, my sister's family's in a different state. My parents are in a different country. They're in Korea, so it's been just nice to spend time with my family, the family I've created, and the house smells amazing right now. She brined the turkey. It's really juicy the way she prepared it, because mine was kind of dry last year. But the way she prepared it, it's just like falling off the bone. It smells delicious. There's all these herbs, and the meat's been again brined, so it's got that nice flavor to it. Should be a good Thanksgiving. All right, well, I hope you guys are spending quality time with your families. And again, from Otaku to you guys, happy Thanksgiving to all my otakus out there.
OTG has an OCD for comics, gets his books for super cheap, wants for the PC that he will keep. Look out, here comes the OTG. Otaku, listen back, he's got a Sharingan for comics, Yakuga, Rinnegan, no Mangekyo Sharingan. Hey there goes the OTG. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Otaku, friendly neighborhood tour guide. Wealth and fame, he's ignored. Chimney books are his reward. To him, life is a great big comic hall. Wherever there's a comic wall, he's Jimly's biggest fan.
This video is going to cover the top 22 first issue pickups of 2022. Now, as you know, I picked up a lot of comics this year. I want to say close to 300 books, somewhere in that range. And so when I was like, last year we did a top 22 pickups of 2020, top 21 pickups of 2021. And that was a fairly easy lift, because I didn't pick up, I'd say I picked up about 50 books last year, if that, maybe a little over 50. So, doing a top 21 list wasn't that much of a lift, but I picked up a lot of books this year. I mean, I would say it's close to 400 pickups this year. So again, we're gonna have a bunch of curated lists from this point out to the end of the year, and among those lists, I'm gonna have like top artist edition, like top Peach Momoko books that we picked up, top Neil Adams books we picked up, top Jim Lee books that we picked up. What else? Top signed books, signature books that we picked up, and maybe top cover buys, top reprints. I kind of did my top reprints of the collection, but I did leave out a few notable ones, so maybe we'll do that officially toward the end of the year. We'll have to see. And then of course I'm meeting up with my comic bro Namyeon Pyong this weekend, and we're gonna hit up one of my favorite comic book shops. We're gonna hit up the 25-cent bins on Sunday, and so I have a limited budget. But the nice thing about 25 cents is, even with $10, right, you can pick up, a lot of books. That's 40 books right there. So right now I have about 14 bucks. So we're just gonna dig and see what we find, and then if we have some money left over, which I anticipate I will, because I'm not gonna want to pick up 40 bucks. I'm gonna try to just really keep it to like the one, maybe try to keep it to like 10 to 20 books, which is like $5. But yeah, that's the plan, and we're just gonna get breakfast together, go to the comic book shop, spend all day there, and we'll do some videos as well. It's gonna be a fun time. I'm really looking forward to that. And we're doing that on Sunday, so this Sunday. So by the time this video goes out, it'll be followed up with probably either a live video just to say, hey, here we are. This is our first physical meeting, like actual in-person meeting, and then there'll be a longer video, I'm sure, over the day we spent and the books we picked up. Looking forward to that. So there's a lot's coming up in the remaining time we have left in 2022. And so, yeah, let's get to the list. These are the top 22 first issue pickups. And what I mean by first issue is anything with a number 1 on it, that isn't a part 1, that isn't like a 1 of 3. If it's going to be like a series, it has to at least be 4 books. So anything 4 or more would count as a series. If it's 1 of 3 or 1 of 2, that wouldn't necessarily count as a first issue. So we're looking for a run of at least 4 issues, and it's the number 1 of. And here we go. So I'm going to start right here. This is just one of my favorite characters in comic books, and that is Elektra number 1. This is a Mike Deodato Jr. cover. It's the variant edition, and Elektra just looks so nice there, busting through a window with her size. Now, you could make the argument that Jim Lee based Psylocke off this character. I mean, it's essentially, they have very similar costume designs. I mean, it is a little different, but like in terms of like the bands and everything, and kind of the way their physique, that like their, I don't want to say their ethnic makeup, but just the fact that they have black hair and they're both very athletic, and like in terms of like femme fatale type, warrior type characters, they're very similar. So, but anyway, maybe that's why I like Elektra. Maybe that's why I like Psylocke, because I just like that kind of character. But for whatever reasons, that's a great first issue. All right, Avengers volumes. This is the Initiative, though. The Initiative and Avengers: The Initiative number 1, and this is actually one of those fold-out covers, and great cover actually. Just got all these heroes there. Jim Chung cover. Loving Jim Chung art. I just I think that if that's one thing you could say about 2022, I've come to appreciate a lot of the more modern artists that have come along since I stopped collecting, and I stopped collecting it, I want to say 96, 97. Yeah, 97, because that was about a year into being in the real world. I was out of college, because I'd been buying comics in college, so just one of those things you do. When I had free time, I'd go to the comic book shop. I was working part-time, so I had some money, so I was bored. A lot of kids in college usually buy like used CD. I was buying my share of used CDs as well, like music. But I did reserve some budget to pick up comic books. And yeah, I stopped collecting in 97, so I kind of just didn't have an idea of like which artists came up, and as I got back into collecting, I've definitely gravitated toward a few modern artists, Peach Momoko being one of them, Archum being another, and I would put Jim Chun on that list as well. Great art there. Number 21. Now this is number 20, and just picked this up because it's a Neil Gaiman book. Andy Kubert, sorry, I always get the Kuberts mixed up. Andy Kubert Interiors. But what's significant about this, aside from it being like a key, is Gaiman throws shade at Todd McFarlane in this book. So there's a nice dedication to Todd. That's not as far as he goes, but it's shade nonetheless. And so I just I had to pick it up for that fact alone. Number 19, we have Marvel Zombies #1. I recently showed this book off. This is a book from my most recent haul, and not only is this the #1 of I think a 5-issue series, Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness. It's a crossover. It's a homage of great Captain America cover, #1 Cap 1 cover. So that's just kind of cool. I don't collect Captain America, but if there was an iconic Captain America book, it doesn't get more iconic than Cap 1, and so just having that kind of demon variant version of the cover is pretty cool. Alright, number 18. This is all new, all different Avengers. Great Alex Ross cover with all the sort of the, I guess you could say the new generation of characters that are being groomed to carry on the future of Marvel, or at least supplement to the classic characters of the Avengers. So I guess you could call this Avengers 2.0. Will we see this in the MCU at some point as the Avengers team? Who knows? We very may well. All right, this next one is, I'm gonna go with this one here. Is Batman and Robin #1. Not a big fan of Frank Quitely's art, but I will give him this. It's very unique. It's got a unique style there, and definitely he brings personality and character to his Robin there. Batman's just sort of a classic version of himself. So yeah, this is just kind of a book that's heating up because of some speculation, but picked it up for half cover. right, this next one is one we got from a trade, and I really like the cover. It's just an awesome cover here with Punisher 1. Punisher's just there with a lot of weapons, and he's got some Chinese, not Chinese stars, but ninja stars. We call him Shuriken. Shuriken stuck in his arms. And we got a bunch of katanas, swords in the back, or just weapons. There's like different swords and that's pretty gruesome cover, but I love that. Love the costume and everything about that cover. Alright, so Punisher number 1, that's the most recent run of Punisher. I think it's ongoing. We also picked up, this is a really cool pickup, and that is Punisher Warzone number 1. This is a newsstand edition. That's a really clean copy of a newsstand edition as well. So amazing John Romita Jr. cover. And John Romita Jr. is an artist that I didn't appreciate his work in the past, even though I've read a lot of comic books by him as a collector. We collected books by him, like his run on Daredevil, Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, which was an amazing run of Daredevil, and it's sort of his origin story. It's a mini series about his origin story, but incorporates Elektra, Kingpin, just everything you love about the character. No Bullseye, but again, just sort of how he comes to be story, and they introduce a lot of the, Karen Page, Foggy, just all the characters. It really is sort of, I think, the people who did the Netflix Daredevil series, which was really good, but they drew a lot from that specific series. At least it felt like it. But anyway, my point is, John Romita Jr., I've been just, eating up his stuff for years now, and never really was a big fan, but now that I'm back into comic books and I'm just nostalgic about that age, and I look at a cover like this, and I see the work he's doing on Spider-Man and all these other titles, just reinforces, I think, and it generates a new appreciation within me about his work. Because I've always been kind of a fan of his, but that sense is stronger now. When I look at his work now, I think genius. I just have that appreciation for his style, his method of storytelling. Because look at that, the bullets flying and all that. That's just a great image. And when you can do great images like that, you're going to be able to tell a great story. All right, so let's see here. This is book 13, Silver Surfer number 1, Black. This is Donny Cates, Tradmore run, and just like that black cover of Silver Surfer there. Number 12 on our list is Superman Batman number 1. And we did pick up the annual too. I guess it would be technically 23 books. I like this annual too, but these are just great covers by Ed McGuinness. And this one's interesting because it's a crossover. It's sort of an unofficial crossover. Deadpool makes an appearance in this book, and they just spoof him to no end. Because, you know, yeah, Joe Kelly is the writer of this annual one. So this is just an interesting book. If you have a chance to pick up the annual, I'd say do so. Now this number one has a Batman variant and a Superman variant. I want to pick up the Superman variant at some point. Maybe we will do that. We'll find it this weekend. Definitely going to look out for stuff like that. All right, now we're getting into the top 11 books that we picked up in 2022. Counting down. So we'll start here with Robin, number 1 of 5. This is a great Brian Bolland cover. Shout out to Justin Knows Comics. He did a haul video where he picked up a bunch of discount books, and man, they were some, like, I just like where he is with his pickups right now, because they're kind of like, if I had budget to just pick up stuff, I'd kind of be doing what he's doing right now. And he picked up a great stack of Brian Bolland Wonder Woman books. Beautiful covers, just classic issues, and it's kind of like I want to do that at some point. I want to pick up those books. It's just, yeah, I mean, you know, with the limited budget I have and where my focus is, that's gonna probably, I'm putting stuff like that on the back burner, and just trying to focus on really what I am collecting. But if I had unlimited space, unlimited resources, and all that, I'm just like, dude, those are just amazing books. And of course, if we run into like a Brian Bolland Wonder Woman book on our hunts, on our home hunts, and I can pick it up for half a cover or something ridiculously cheap, like you know, Justin did, I would definitely, it's coming into the collection for sure. But there's just so much, like, I mean, I you know, like the Perez run is another run that, you know, I'm trying to pick up that number 1, that Wonder Woman number 1. That is high on the priority list. So it's just one of those things, like, we have to kind of look at where we are, how much money we have, and the options in front of us. So yeah, but this was a quarter bin find, newsstand edition, pretty good condition. Still has a free poster inside. So yeah, that was a great pickup actually. I mean, that would technically put us over 22, but I guess I could show this one off. This is the ongoing series, Cyberforce. Great Mark Silvestri cover. But the one we want to show off that we picked up was the newsstand copy of Cyberforce number 1. So that's, you know, I mean, this is a book just people of my generation who collect will like. I don't know if anybody collecting today would look at this book because of the print count and all that, and consider it something they'd want to add to their collection. But for somebody like me who was kind of just, you know, I want to say I was collecting about six years before this book came out, and also like 4 to 5 years. Yeah, 4 to 5 years after this book came out. So I'm like right in the middle of my entire collecting career, if you want to call it that. This happened right in the right in the middle, at the pinnacle of my love for books from Image and artists like Chimley, Todd, Rob Liefeld, and the master Mark Silvestri. So, collector, and I was able to pick it up. Newsstand copy of West Coast Avengers #1. This is the first appearance of the Centurion armor, which I think is going to shoot this book up if one of two scenarios happens. First, if the West Coast Avengers ever make it to the MCU, which that would just catapult this book. And the other is if they introduce this suit in Armor Wars, which I think is that would be the plan, right? But we'll just have to see. All right. Where are we here? Number 9. Now, when you look at this book, it says Amazing Fantasy 15, and you think, that's not a first issue, it's 15. But this is actually the back cover. And for those of you watching my last haul video, you'll know I picked up Official Marvel Index to Amazing Spider-Man. And it's a great John Byrne cover on the front of Spider-Man crawling. And I first of all, I love the book. The book is kind of like just an encyclopedia of all the different early Silver Age issues of Spider-Man. I don't know how far this run goes. I do know there's at least 6 issues of the official Marvel Index. It may go up to 6. It may go maybe beyond. So it's not covering an entire spectrum of the title. It's only covering, I think, the first however many issues. Maybe it's just the first 100. But there's a great John Romita senior cover we want to pick. It's number 2 in that run. But the first issue, they gave John Byrne the responsibilities, and man, he draws a great Spider-Man. There aren't too many John Byrne Spider-Man covers and artwork, so I have a few of the John Byrne Spider-Man. He did do a good few covers on Web of Spider-Man in the early parts of that run, and we were looking to pick all of those up at some point when they come, if there's an opportunity to get them. But again, great artist, one of my favorite artists of all time, and I just love what he does with Spider-Man. So that was a great cover, and at some point I probably will flip this back around to have that John Byrne cover. But on the back of the cover is pretty cool. It's again just a sort of a it's not like it's just basically an homage cover, and this is like I think 8 then. Secret Wars #1. Now the reason I don't have this book on my list is because I picked this up last year. So this is a book we picked up last year, but I gotta say the Secret Wars hype bug, has it, whatever you want to call it, spec bug, hype bug, or whatever. I'm hooked. I am definitely looking forward to Secret Wars, the movie, and how they're going to build up to it. And so I think sometime in early summer, I mean, I got this last year, but mind you, I just knew, this is like, whether it was coming to movies or not, which when I got it, I wasn't even thinking along those lines. When I picked it up, I just saw it for a great price, and I was like, this is a book that I need in my collection. Alright, number 7 on my list is Willow number 1. This is actually coming out on Netflix in a few days. Alright? It's coming out next week on the 30th, November 30th, I think is the premiere. And it looks really, from the trailers, it looks good. Nice, like fun, like Spielberg-esque. Like, you got the great soundtrack, and you got the great story. You have obviously a great prequel to this eventual series that people can go back and watch. And it's got a new generation of characters that people can. So it's going to be kind of like funny and adventurous, and it's going to have good versus evil and magic and all kinds of like fun stuff in it. So looking forward to it. And this book is kind of like in limbo right now. It went up. It's like a $20 book right now, but we'll have to see what the reaction on that series is. My anticipation is the fact that it's coming out near the holidays and people are going to be home, and it's coming out at a time when, I think anything you release for home viewing and you attach like some nostalgia to it, where both old and young can enjoy it as a family, and it's family oriented, I really anticipate a lot of people are going to watch that and they're going to enjoy it. And it's going to be one of those things like that you can stream. I think it's going to come out in like, it's going to come out in tiers. Who knows, I think it's going to come out all at once, but that would be unfortunate. It'd be a better kind of event over the holidays if people were anticipating and watching it, like kind of like you would like a weekly television series. But either way, hopefully it does well. And it looks good. That's all I'm saying. As somebody who's watched the original Willow and loved the original film, I think it's going to carry that same kind of entertainment value for the new one. Alright, next one I picked up, Nova number 1. This is available for sale or trade, so if you guys want it, it's send me an offer. Again, looking for Jim Lee books, so if you want this book and you have a Jim Lee book that maybe you want to pass on to me, by all means, send me an offer. Alright, we're down to my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're down to our last 5, top 5. Okay, number 5. This is a number 1 issue. King size Hulk number 1. And I think I've shown this book off several videos. Like I showed it off recently in like the reprint, my favorite reprints video. I showed it off in like top recent pickups that like most recent pickups, top books in the recent pickups video. And when I initially picked this up in the haul, I showed it off. And the more and more I just look at the cover, just think about the book. The more and more I really love this book. As you know, first of all, there's like they reprint Herb Trimpe, Len Wein, Hulk 180 and Hulk 181. They reprint both the first cameo and first full appearance of Wolverine in this book. Completely just random. So that's in this book. There's also an original story by Jeff Loeb. This cover's done by Frank Cho. I think he does also some panels in there. Arthur Adams does panels in this one. So it's just a very interesting book to own. Couple that with the fact that it's the second appearance of Red Hulk, the first appearance of the fight between She-Hulk and Red Hulk, and it's on a cover appearance as well. The fact that their first appearance is on the cover. So all those variables, all those interesting tidbits, and the fact that this is like the variant cover by Frank Cho, who draws a mean Red Hulk. Hey guys, I know what you guys are thinking, but you know what I mean. Like, it's a great book, and the more and more I look at it, and the more and more it becomes like I'm not a big Hulk collector at all, not. But I do like She-Hulk. I think the Red Hulk looks great. There's a lot of spec now. The Red Hulk's coming to MCU, which makes sense, right? Yeah, just to have this great cover by Frank Cho and the reprints of 180 and 181. I mean, what more can you say, man? That's like more than a trifecta. That's like a quadrifecta, quintafecta. I don't know, sextafecta. That sounds dirty, sextafecta. But anyway, that's what it is. Now, this next book, I'm really excited about it, actually. And that's the #1 All-Star Squadron. It's not the first appearance of All-Star Squadron, but it's the first sort of ongoing series of All-Star Squadron. And it's a little bit of a spec, not a spec buy on my part, but it has spec potential. But for me, it's just a great #1 of a DC team book from the Bronze Age. So, yeah, fabulous first issue of an all-new Roy Thomas, Rick Buckler sensation. This classic Rick Buckler art right there. And those guys are they've been working so long together. They're kind of like the Stanley Steve Ditko of this particular age of DC. I mean, they're doing so many books together and creating such classic stories and books. So happy to pick that up. All right, we're down to our last 3 books, and this one. This wasn't worth all that much for such a long time, and then along comes Venom movie, and they trademark the Lethal Protector, like I'm Venom, the Lethal Protector in that movie, and it just becomes sort of his mantra, like the Man of Steel, like the Dark Knight and all that. So, Venom Lethal Protector. This book now is just a nice, $20 or $25 book there. So it's got that great, reflective foil cover there. Beautiful refractive, not refractive, but reflective foil cover there. just awesome stuff. And that's, again, when did this come out? In the 90s. And did we buy this in the 90s? Yes, we bought this in the 90s because everybody bought this in the 90s. And that's why I think it just will never be really worth all that much, because they did produce a lot of the copies. So don't overpay for that one, if you kids. Even though there's a lot of love and hype for Venom, don't overpay for that book. If you're paying more than $20, you're overpaying. All right. This is probably one of the most undervalued books in all of comic books. I run across this book, and not all the time, I should say I run across it all, because I run across it all the time. I pick it up all the time. I have, I would say, 5 copies of this book at the moment, and 3 newsstand copies. This is one of my newsstand copies. But it's Superman #1, Volume 2, #1. And it's an $8 book for a first issue. This isn't even from the 90s, it's from 1987, so, you know, as high a, it probably has a pretty high print count out of the DC books that were coming out of this, that you would expect for a Superman #1. But a lot of people bought this book. Look at this jump, look at this right there. It's again, volume 2 of the Superman. This is still at this time very popular, strong title for DC. But my point being is Superman 1, okay? I think Superman 1 sold for $5.5 million. This is one of the highest grade copies. Which is, I think, was in the, I want to say it was in the 8s, right? 7 or 8. 5 million, okay? That one book alone outsold the entire Heritage auction. Oh, sorry, no, not that one. There was $18 million worth of books, but, okay, so $18 million was the number of sales, the total amount of sales in that Heritage auction. We're talking one book would have taken, you know, a fourth of the entire sales of that Heritage auction, one book. And so, you know, that's $5.5 million. It shows you the people who know, the collectors that know, and the ones that are able to put the money where their mouth is. They know that this book right here, my #1, they know this book is the most valuable book in the hobby. Okay? It's the most valuable book in the hobby. And people need to, no matter what your opinion is, okay, you may hate this book, you may hate this character, I don't care. But you gotta recognize. And you gotta show respect. This is our hobby right here. This is our hobby. Not Amazing Fantasy 15, not, Fantastic Four #1, not all these, things that people are trying to run out and get these days, because they can't get this, that's for damn sure. But in all honesty, I'd rather pick up a Superman #50 than any of those Silver Age #1s. That's just me. You don't have to buy into that or anything like that, but that's me. But I will say this. Superman is going to have his day in the sun. He's going to have his day in the yellow sun. And that that day comes, they bow down. Bow down. Like kneel before Zod, right? Alright, that's all my ranting for this Thanksgiving edition of the best 22 first issue pickups of 2022. Action Comics. I may just have to go out with a Superman theme. Alright, we'll see you in the next one. Bye, dudes.